Hey, this is Ben with part two of uh, this tobacco bag project and just a tutorial of how to do some Lakota style beadwork, some Plains Indian beadwork. But yeah, if you saw part one, you saw the one side of the bag. It's quite a bit further along now. I just want to show it to you. Here it is. Get a good shot of it. You can see it has fringe now. Fringe, and these are tin cones. They're just made out of tin, and they're just kind of in a cone shape, and they're like the fringe is going through the middle of them. And then this, the way we've chosen to do the edging on this is just a rolled edge, so it's just whip stitched. So you'll go through the leather, add the beads, and then just go over and then through and then over and then through and then over and through, and you just kind of keep a simple pattern like that. Usually you see rolled edges like that on larger bags, but I just decided to kind of dress this one up. And this is the other side of this bag, just this little tobacco bag. You can see where I'm still working right there. And so this has already been sewn together. You can kind of see the seam. Let's see right there. See the seam? And then it just needs to be trimmed up a little bit right here with some more beads. And so what you do is to sew it together, you would get some sinew and then just turn the bag inside out so the beadwork is facing itself, and then whip stitch it with that nylon sinew, imitation sinew. And so you would just whip stitch it like that, as close to the beadwork as you can tell, you know. And then at that time you would tuck your fringe inside the bag, and then so it would get sewn up also, and then that's what you use to pull the bag right side out when you're done with it. And you don't really have to worry, as long as you buried your stitches deep enough in the leather, you don't have to worry about messing up the beadwork. It'll be able to take the stress, and you just pull it out. Sometimes you might need a pair of pliers. Just pull it right out like that. And so I have a stitch ready to go here just to kind of show you how to roll the edge. But beadwork is a lot about judgment calls. And something like this, where it probably looks pretty professional to someone, you know, beadwork's not about perfection. You know, there's little mistakes here and there, and it's just about, you know, creating a finished piece that looks uniform and looks nice, and it's not ever intended to be perfect. If you're trying to make something perfect, you know, maybe beadwork might not be for you, because you just have to make a lot of judgment calls, and you have to learn how to create something and have a process and let go of stuff, you know, and make a lot of judgment calls. So you can see right here how I've got this next line of beads ready to go on my pattern. And what I'm going to do is just measure it first. So I'll just take it, see how it measures up to the other beads. And then with this particular stitch, I'll take my needle and then just going to go right at the bottom, so it's just nice and uniform. And then I'm going to push it all the way through the leather to the other side, which is different than the stitch I showed you before that doesn't go all the way through the leather. It's just a little hook in the middle for a continuous line of lazy stitch. So this rolled edge, you can kind of see it right there, and then just pull it tight, and it just cinches it like that. And that is how you finish an edge. That's one way. There's lots of ways to decorate the edge of a bag, and there's lots of embellishments types of stuff. You don't have to put tin cones on. You don't have to put fringe on. You know, this is just the way that I wanted this bag to look after a while. And I wanted to show you how to cut fringe too. To get fringe to look nice and uniform like this is kind of tough if you don't know how to do it, you know? So I'll just show you on this piece of paper. Once you have your bag pulled inside out, say this was your fringe that was hanging off of the bag, the fringe, and just one solid piece of leather, you know, without the tin cones. You take a set of really sharp, heavy scissors, and you would just cut it right up the middle like that. Like that. See, right up the middle. And then you go to either side and you just go right up the middle again. You know, you can also do it with a rotary knife if you have really long fringe. And you go right up the middle again. And then you just see how that is. And then you just keep doing that. Go right up the middle on this side. With each time you separate it out, you just keep going up the middle, and it'll make your fringe the same thickness. And it'll, you know, as long as you get the cut straight when you're going up, it'll end up looking really nice. And that's how you would cut the fringe for this particular bag, you know. And this bag's pretty much done. There's a couple different ways you can close a bag like this. You can sew a long leather thong so you can just wrap it around. This particular bag, I'm going to punch some holes, very, very small holes up here, and then run a thong through it so I can cinch it up, just so it'll be nice and tight. And as long as you make the leather thong a little bit thicker than the holes, you won't lose anything out of the bag. And the nice thing about this like rolled edge is when the bag is open, you can see how it really opens the top of the bag, and you can really get in there, and if there's something small in there, you can see it. Yeah. So that's about it. And with these tin cones, you just slide them on to the fringe, and then you just take a pair of pliers and you just barely want to nip the edge just so it hangs out on there. You know, you just want to nip it. Each little edge, don't completely flatten it. It looks kind of weird, you know. But just nip it so it stays put and it kind of has a nice sound like that. And that's about it for this particular bag. I think we're about done. If you have any questions, or if there's anything you want to see about traditional Plains Indian artwork, Lakota style artwork, just you know, leave a comment and let me know if there's something you want to know. You know, I've been doing this since I was really young, and I probably could tell you a little bit about it. And that's my purpose for making these videos. If you're Plains Indian and you know you didn't grow up around this stuff, this is a part of the culture that I did grow up around a lot. People making things like this that I want to make available to people. So if there's something that you need, or something that you can think of that you want to know how to do, or something that wasn't clear in the video, just let me know and I'll try and create something that's a little bit clearer. And we're just going to keep going with these kind of things. Eventually, we're going to make a tail feather fan from start to finish. And we also have a couple pair of moccasins that are like halfway through. So I'll show you how to cut Plains Indian moccasins out and then, you know, sew them up. And this is always a good reference guide too. Just wanted to show you this book right here, Sioux Quill and Beadwork Designs and Techniques by Carrie A. Lifford. And so this is an Anglo-Saxon person that has, you know, been back to the reservation, that has studied these patterns. And if you're going to use a book like this, you don't want to use it like a textbook, you know, like, oh, this means this and that means that, because you'll probably get, if you've never been exposed to the culture, you're probably going to get stuff really wrong, you know. And you know, but it is a good guide for just basic patterns and symbols and where they come from. It just shows you different things like this, you know. And that's the thing about this type of stuff, is you really have to you really have to respect and learn the culture and not appropriate the culture. Because I mean, you could take these same sets of symbols and arrange them in a way where Indian people would just be like, what the heck is that, you know? But so there is meanings behind everything that we do. A lot of times they're spiritual, and there is like a denotion between an object for everyday use and then a ceremonial object. You probably won't see any pictures or videos like that of that kind of stuff. But yeah, so anything I can do to be helpful. If there's anything you want to know how to make, whether it's used in powwow regalia or anything, it doesn't have to be for male-bodied folks. You know, shawls, whatever. If you need to know how to tie a shawl, just inbox me and let me know. Anyways, thanks so much.